Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Here come the good. I got a million questions for Theo, but the viewers always have the best. Jason in Red Deer says, Theo, have you gotten to see Connor Bedard play live yet? Thoughts?
I haven't been able to see him play live. I'm not sure about all the hype, you know. He's got a long ways to go. You know, he's a great offensive player. And I know when I got to the NHL, I had to completely change my game. Completely change it. Because I got to the NHL and I was the fourth line centerman for the Calgary Flames. So my job was momentum, change the momentum of the game, bring a spark and some excitement. They didn't really care if I scored or not, you know. And so, you know, I ended up playing the point on the power play because Gary Suter broke his jaw in the first game of the first round of the playoffs. And so, you know, I became more of a role player. And these young guys, I don't know, because they come in with all this hype and all this stuff, you know, there's high expectations where there wasn't really any high expectations on me when
You're
I
a late draft pick,
yeah,
you said it.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's a great offensive talent, but, you know, is he going to have the impact immediately? I would say no.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Arash Madani got me going on this. He's going, this is amazing. Mike Trout's coming out with a USA flag. And Shohei Ohtani's coming out with a Japanese flag. I'm like, oh, I better flip it over to Sportsnet. It was kind of slow going at the start. The game itself was exciting. We've been trying to get people into it over the last week and a half since this thing started, and I think a lot of people did. What a game, man. People are going to be talking about this for quite some time.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show on this Thursday. It's episode number 965 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. I apologize, Director Jordan. Seconds before we went on the air, I kicked the camera. He seems to have made the adjustment just fine. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination, the gateway to the foothills out here on the beautiful Tsuut'ina Nation. That's where I am. Darren Moose DuPont is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. For those that are watching on Game Plus TV and YouTube, you'll notice a little different look to his set. Nice work, Moose. Real nice.
Thank you.
And I hope you are as in good a mood as I am today. I got a lot of things that I want to get to. It was a very, very big day here yesterday with Theoren Fleury. They're still talking about it. And if you want to know my thoughts on the hate that's come our way and Theo's way, go and read my commentary right now at rodpedersen.com or listen to it on Sask Radio because, hey, he's just a good friend. It's a coffee talk show, and we didn't really get into the politics yesterday. But I'll say this. It was interesting. There was a crew out front, Darren. I don't think I told you this. They were talking about the show yesterday. And one of the regulars here, Mike, he's one of the customers at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. He said, you guys need to have Rod here full time. He needs to be a permanent fixture. The show's so great. And one of the security guys, you can always tell who doesn't really know sports. He goes, yeah, he had Grant Fuhr here yesterday. And I was like, I wish I had Grant Fuhr here yesterday. Nope. Wrong team, wrong position, wrong everything. But anyways, if we could get Grant Fuhr here, I'd be pretty happy with that. Now, the other thing, I want to read a couple messages here before we really get down to business and stop Mickey Mousing. Stephen is watching in North Dakota, and I couldn't believe this. He writes that he says, greetings and hallucinations. From sunny minus 11 degrees, Minot, North Dakota. Will the football combine harvest talent this year? We'll get to the CFL Combine, but I was like, minus 11 in North Dakota Celsius? What? I went and checked my phone. It's minus 1 here in Calgary, minus 2 where you are. Sorry, minus 10 where you are Celsius, but plus 25 in beautiful Boca Raton, Florida, where I'll be later on this spring. But come on, spring. Are you guys driving through puddles and stuff there yet? Because we are here in Calgary.
No, man. I went out for a big run on the weekend, and it is so bright. The sun is out. You can tell spring wants to be here, but it's cold, man. It is ice everywhere. It is not. We celebrated the first day of spring the other day. It's not spring yet.
Well, it is here, but hold on. I believe with my 50 trips around the sun, spring is coming, but holy smokes, let's go. And another text here is from Brian. He is in Beausejour, Manitoba. He writes in and he says, hi, I'm watching on Game Plus TV in Beausejour, Manitoba. Recorded the show yesterday as I happened to be in Winnipeg. Love the show. Keep it up. So let's keep it rolling. We were asking our viewers and listeners yesterday, wherever you're watching from, can you send us a text, 902-518-3033. And I see people, our regulars, the Rod Squad, chiming in already, but let's, Moose, get down to business with what we normally do, and that is the Quick Six Show topics. Can you hit the horn, please, Director Jordan?
How about that?
Yeah, listen up in Edmonton, by the way, and Darren knows this because we've talked a lot this morning already. The Combine is in Edmonton. Today's a lot of an Edmonton show, but we don't have a lot of Edmonton people on the air today for a variety of reasons, which I will get to throughout the course of today's program. But Edmonton Oilers superstar Connor McDavid etched his name amongst the greats again last night. The 26-year-old hit the 60-goal mark by scoring the overtime winner in a 4-3 victory over the Arizona Coyotes. His second of the game made him the fastest player to reach 60 goals since Hall of Famer Mario Lemieux did it in 62 games back in 95-96. It took Connor McSixty 72 games to do it. So he's really on fire. And I was telling Serena this morning because she's in Florida. She doesn't get the benefit of the NHL highlights because they're talking college football right now, just so you know. So I said, hey, McDavid is like Rodney Dangerfield in the interviews after a game. You saw him at the Junos the other night. I had to look twice to make sure that was him. He's having fun. He's laughing. He talked about international play after the game last night, which I know you want to get into. But I guess when you're winning, it's fun, and you want to go to the rink and it shows. That's what I'm sensing, Darren, in Edmonton right now.
Yeah, breaking news, right? I mean, when things are good, life is fun. You're more willing to talk to the media. You're more willing to be light and jovial and get the personality out. And nobody's coming for you with a knife to your back. So, wow. It doesn't mean we have to always be positive when things aren't good. But this is nice to see.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew? So, yeah, they're having fun there. And I'll get to the Flames in a second. Part of the reason that I'm very jovial today is that it is game day. The Vegas Golden Knights are in town. Perry S. Hockey and I are meeting at the Saddle Dome quite early before the game. We're going to meet and have supper there. And I just love NHL game day. Hockey game day. And by the way, Ryan O'Radio is checked in from Atlanta, where we are Atlanta's NHL show on WQEE radio. But after the game last night, McDavid made this comment, and I didn't take as much from it as you did, but you thought it was quite interesting that he addressed the topic of best on best play, that being when Canada, USA, Czechs, Sweden, Finland all meet, that the best players play. Connor would like to see that. You?
I would love it. I would love it. I think it's amazing. I think it should be at the Olympics. For me, some of my greatest moments, my favorite hockey moment of my lifetime was the 2002 Olympics. Number one, the whole Olympics.
Really?
I got the little binder that the Petro-Canada used to give out. It had the cards for every team. So I had Mats Sundin and Peter Forsberg from Sweden and Tommy Salo, and I had all the Canadians, Yzerman and Lindros and whoever else was playing. It was great. I mean, I had all the guys. But to me, it was such a wonderful time to bring everybody together. The best players that we watched in the NHL playing for their countries. I wish we had more of that.
It would help, and that's today's poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies, including Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Regina, plus the state of California. Should the NHL send its players to the Olympics? Yes or no? Producer Clark, do we have a sample size yet on what the public is saying on that? I haven't. What are they saying on YouTube?
100% yes. 100% yes on YouTube.
100% yes.
Just check Twitter, but I think it was like 92%.
Okay, well, a landslide victory for yes on that one, that the NHL should send its players to the Olympics. And can I pull a full DuPont on this and say I'm a little bit undecided for my own reasons? I didn't really watch the hockey in the last Olympics. It was in Beijing, correct? And I don't know why. I just didn't really care. I didn't know who the players were. But I went to the hockey here in 1988 at the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary. And I'll never forget that Sean Burke was in goal for Team Canada. I'm trying to remember who some of the guys were, but they weren't NHLers on that team. So I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Oh, how elitist of you, Connor McDavid, to think that you should be there, but the lowerlings shouldn't. Am I doing it right? The cancel culture? The cancel culture? By the way, there are people showing up to watch the show live here today, and they've told me that they can't get the screens figured out. The ones that this is a full-service sports bar that I'm in right now here at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, as you know, Darren, and for whatever reason, they can't get the TV screens up. But not my problem. John Ohm, he's had a lot to say today, and I'm going to just throw out one of his comments. It's regarding the Jets. He says, Mickey Mouse or not, the real Winnipeg Jets better show up tonight. That's one of 12 games. They're at Anaheim. Oh, I get it. They're at the happiest place in the world, Disneyland. I got a text from a hockey guy this morning about those Winnipeg Jets, and we can sit and talk about the Jets if we want. He said, hot off the press. He says the original issues in Winnipeg have filtered back into the dressing room. Apparently, Blake Wheeler, is this public consumption? I don't know. This is the hockey undercurrent that blows up my phone on a daily basis. Does the world know that Blake Wheeler was involved in whether it be a verbal or physical altercation in the dressing room? The guy that had the C stripped off him last year? Let's take a minute and observe the dumpster fire that the Winnipeg Jets are becoming. What a plot twist that just before the playoffs, Moose, the Jets would, they are who we thought they were. How much are you following of that?
I know, and I've been following it quite a bit, and Rick Bowness's comments about he's got to do a better job motivating these players and some of the high-end guys that aren't delivering on a game-to-game basis right now. They better pull it together quick. I mean, this is a team that's going up and down, insane. At one point, not really that long ago, we were talking about the Jets being the #1 team in the Western Conference, were we not? And now we're talking about them hanging on to their playoff lives. It's a group that, clearly has some internal issues, and they need to get this sorted out very soon, or it's going to be a disaster.
I think it might already be a disaster, and I saw the quotes from Rick Bowness. He was going back and forth with a Winnipeg reporter about who should be responsible for motivating the Winnipeg Jets players right now, and it's very hard to believe for anybody that any pro athlete has a tough time being motivated, period, let alone making millions of dollars. And I don't know if you saw the quote from Rick Bowness, but the head coach of the Jets said to the reporter, who motivates you when you get out of bed in the morning? And the reporter said, me. And Rick goes, exactly. So what Bowness says, he's not necessarily responsible for motivating the players, but he has pointed out to the players, you guys need to be better. You need to play with a little more emotion and fire. But that's why the world of recovery that I talk about, mental health and addiction recovery, does translate really well to life, in that when we say it starts with you, only you can make it happen. Only you can make a difference within your own life. And sitting around waiting for it to happen, you're going to be waiting a long time. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Landry writes in and says, rough game last night for my Avs. Hard to win when you spend half a period on the penalty kill. Oh, are we complaining about officiating? Which reminds me, that's a big question I have today, which I'll get to. What Landry's referring to is Jeff Carter had a pair of goals. Sidney Crosby reached the 30-goal mark for an 11th season, and the Pittsburgh Penguins hung one on the Avalanche 5-2. Crosby moved into a tie with Hall of Fame center Mario Lemieux for most 30-goal seasons in Penguins history. Crosby also became the first player in league history ever to post a 30-goal campaign at 18 years of age and 35-plus years of age, according to NHL stats. I'm moving on to point two. The International Ice Hockey Federation announced Wednesday it will be excluding Russia and Belarus from all its world championships next season. The IIHF cites security reasons for players, competition staff, and fans because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. How unfortunate, but not surprising. By the way, don't miss comedian, actress, producer, and podcaster Whitney Cummings live right here at the Grey Eagle Event Center on Tuesday, April 25th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. Right meow. Moose point 3. Gonna totally throw you for a loop on this one. And I'm going to read it, and then we'll give our audience some time to think about it, okay? Because I'm going to pose a question to them afterwards. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said he plans to protest a 2-point loss to the Golden State Warriors after a confusing sequence led to an uncontested basket for the Warriors in a game here. It was last night, right? Kevin Looney had an easy dunk on an inbounds play with the Mavericks lined up on their offensive end after a timeout late in the third quarter of Golden State's eventual 2-point win. The Mavericks thought they had the ball after official Andy Nagy pointed in Golden State's direction for possession, but then quickly pointed to the Dallas bench to indicate a timeout. Cost them 2 points, gave them the win in the tightly contested Western Conference. There's that. I just wonder, hey, Mark Cuban, you've been doing this long enough. Do you not realize you can't do that? Like, you can protest a call all you want. I can bring up my history in sports with back when I used to sit in the Saskatchewan Roughriders general manager's office back in the day when we had carte blanche to do that. I'll never forget Alan Ford, our general manager of the Roughriders, got a letter from the CFL apologizing for a blown call. He's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Wallpaper the walls with an apology that they screwed up the call. Meanwhile, I'm fired. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere for Cuban. And maybe he'll get fined $30,000 like Fred VanVleet. My question to you is, Moose, you can wave a wand, genie out of a bottle. Any call in sports history, what's the one call you'd have reversed if you could?
13th man. That's easy for me because that was in my lifetime. I wanted to say the high stick, the Gretzky high stick, but that was really before I was a big hockey fan and watching. So
you were 6.
13th man. Yeah.
And for those that don't know, he's referring to the time, the 2009 Grey Cup, when the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the team for which I called the games, on the very last play of the championship game, got called for having too many men on the field. We were winning before the penalty. We lost after the penalty. But the difference on that, and why I think this show is so great and these debates are so great, is it was the right call. Right, Carter? Carter showed up, by the way, our guy. It was the right call. That's my point. The Gretzky high-sticking call, Dougie Gilmour, I have some time for that because that is a discretionary call in a way, I think.
Yeah.
The too many men was not. Like, and I'll never forget, I'll drop a name here, sitting at Brian Sutter's kitchen table in Sylvan Lake, like 2 weeks after that game. And Brian's like, you know, Rod, I think that's the worst possible way I could ever think of losing a championship game. Thanks, Brian. Yes, it was. Thanks for reminding me. And I need to think about that a little bit. That was a black and white. Well, you can't reverse. How could you reverse that call? Roll back the video. Bing, 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 bing. There's 13 guys on the field.
But the Gretzky one you could.
Folks, right. And some are going to say the Brett Hull skate in the crease. I have time for the argument and the discussion, but I don't think you'd be right. When we come back, we got some NBA. The Chicago Blackhawks have weighed into the Pride jersey thing. How about that? Blue Jays baseball. Sweet 16 March Madness gets rolling today with the game, so we'll be right back. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
And you're looking live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. If you love the timeless music of the Eagles, then you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute. Thursday, April 27th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. And there's a bounce in my step, just like the music, because I'm going to an NHL game tonight. The Flames and the Vegas Golden Knights, 7 p.m. in the Saddle Dome. Let's bring in the Moose again here in warm-up. And Shocky Hockey, Perry S. Hockey, the guy whom I'm going to the game with tonight, is watching in Lethbridge right now on Game Plus Television. And he says, thought, in volleyball, you don't win with all setters. They can keep it close and defend well. Spikers win it. And he says the Flames don't have pure closers. You understand that here in the Calgary area, it's all Flames all the time. In Toronto, it's all Leafs all the time. In Montreal, it's all Canadians all the time. And here's my argument on the Flames thing before I jump into the other stuff, Darren. I thought Tyler Toffoli was that guy. I thought Elias Lindholm was that guy. And incidentally, I was looking at Matthew Tkachuk, what he's been doing here for the Florida Panthers. He's only like the 4th or 5th player in NHL history that's recorded back-to-back 100-point seasons on 2 different teams. I know that probably sounds... I'll read it because you're going to argue it. People are going to argue that. But I'm telling you, that's what I read today in the NHL game notes. That's what Chucky's doing. But he's not really a finisher. And would it be unfair for me to ask you your thoughts on Shock's saying that, or how do you feel about that take?
Yeah, it just feels like they're missing, for me, the Flames. It's just the identity's not there. Like, you knew exactly what this team was all about, right? It was led by Gaudreau and Tkachuk, leading the way, piling up the points. The heart and soul came from Tkachuk, the points, and, some of that stuff more so came from Gaudreau. And you can draw parallels that the team got better, but Kadri has never been in that role where he's been the guy. He is a very talented hockey player. He's a great goal scorer. He's an even better defender at times he's been in his career. But he's always been a great supporting cast. Even Jonathan Huberdeau, with the assists he's racked up, he did it with Barkov finishing plays off, right? And you look at Lindholm in Calgary, they did it as a number 2 or 3, right? Not everybody can be a number 1, and you can't expect points to translate without, with the roles changing. So the identity of the Calgary Flames has completely changed this season.
Well, for sure, and I don't really understand how things work in the media business. I've only been in it for 30-plus years, but I don't get it anymore. Because there are people on the broadcast rights holder that are just ripping the hell out of the Flames. I mean, the heat is hot on Daryl Sutter. And I'm like, again, you have to understand, everywhere's the same. It's just the teams are different. The colors are different. So I heard 2 guys talking about what a Calgary reporter was saying on the air. And they're saying there's going to be major changes coming, major changes. This team's going to be at a crossroads. This is what so-and-so said. I'm like, you got 10 games left. Can we wait until then before we burn somebody at the stake? Because if the Flames pull off some miraculous turnaround in the next 10 games and the Winnipeg Jets continue to do what they're doing, Daryl Sutter's going to be the parade marshal for the Calgary Stampede. So I understand it's all gobbledygook and bunk and fake news, but I'm not listening to any of it. And here it is from NHL stats. Matthew Tkachuk can become the 4th player in NHL history to record 100-plus points in consecutive seasons after changing teams in the offseason. He hasn't hit it yet, but he's close. This would be really dirty for me. Can you name one of the 3 that did it? Only 3 other players have ever done that. Hit 100 points after changing teams back-to-back years. Can you name me one, Darren?
I would have said Gretzky.
You got it. You did it. You did it. You won't get.
Can I go 3 for 3?
I wouldn't have either. You won't, but try. Go ahead.
Yager would have been one, but probably not.
No. No.
Okay.
You haven't even heard of one of them? Yeah, Jimmy Carson, who got traded for Gretzky. The 2 of them did it at the same time. Gretzky and Jimmy Carson switched teams. Gretzky did it with Edmonton, went to L.A., had 100 points. Jimmy Carson did it with L.A., went to Edmonton, had 100 points. So that's 2 of the 3 were involved in the same trade. That's unbelievable. And then the 3rd is Mike Rogers, who incidentally is the former Calgary Flames radio color commentator. Peter Barr and Mike Rogers, high above the broadcast booth. Mike Rogers. But he did it with the 81 Hartford Whalers and then the 1982 New York Rangers. Darren, you were just a little star in the sky when that was happening. So I love that talk. I love that stuff. And I guess when I get back to, like, the hockey people are kind of on Daryl's ass. They're like, he never liked Tkachuk. I think that's obvious. And so if this team completely folds like a wet cardboard box, so Darryl going to have some splaining to do. That Chucky can go down to Florida and be the face of the franchise and hit 100 points, and this team misses the playoffs. Doesn't look too good. So Flames better start playing fast. Point 4, the Toronto Raptors have the day off after suffering a 118-114 loss to the Indiana Pacers in the NBA. The Pacers snapped Toronto's 7-game home win streak behind a 25-point, 10-assist effort from Canadian rookie guard Andrew Nembhard. The Raptors will next host Detroit tomorrow. Point 5, Placeline, Chicago. The Chicago Blackhawks will not wear Pride-themed warm-up jerseys before Sunday's Pride Night game against Vancouver because of security concerns involving a Russian law that expands restrictions on activities seen as promoting LGBTQ rights in the country. Huh? The decision was made by the NHL organization, the Blackhawks, following discussions with security officials within and outside the franchise, according to a person familiar with the situation who spoke to the Associated Press on the matter. The Blackhawks haven't worn Pride warm-up jerseys previously and donned special warm-up jerseys on some other themed nights this season. There had been ongoing conversations about a Pride jersey with the players. But the organization, the Blackhawks, made the decision to hold the Pride Night without the jerseys this year. So I got to tell you something. I don't know. I'd rather talk about the actual games than these societal issues, but there are a lot of people talking about this stuff. You're on record as supporting the Pride Nights. I'm on record as supporting the Pride Nights. But that's just us. Again, this goes back to my commentary today. What's that song? Round and round it goes, where it stops, nobody knows. Are they talking about a merry-go-round? Are they talking about the world? What are they talking about in that song? Do you know the song?
Yeah, oh yeah. You know, I think it's a merry-go-round. It could be, you know, musical chairs. I'm not really sure. I didn't know. I don't think it's the world.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I haven't heard the whole song. I just remember that line. And I think that's where we're on this merry-go-round that I don't know if it's ever going to stop on the Pride thing. And I think if we can at least sort of discuss stuff without yelling at each other and calling names, and I don't think that's ever going to happen either, that we'll get to that point. But with the James Reimer, kind of took the easy way out. And I know James certainly was in the Western Hockey League at the same time as him. I've been at religious events with him. I'm a God guy, but I'm still pro-LGBT. And he in his statement when he said with San Jose he wasn't going to wear the jersey, he goes, I'm inclusive with everybody. I think everybody has a right to the lifestyle, but I'm just not going to wear it because the Bible says it's wrong. And I was thinking about that over the last couple of days. Well, the Bible says it, James, but what do you think? You know what I mean? Like, what's your thoughts on this? And I don't want to fight, and I know this is going to rile up a lot of people, but I've got people, let's say, in my circle that don't support Black Lives Matter, don't support LGBT, and I think it's pretty easy to not like them when you don't have to face a member of that community ever in your life. You know what I mean? But when you're around them, what have I said many times? The most horrible people I know, some of them are straight and white. So why are we condemning somebody because of their sexual orientation or the color of their skin? I believe they were born that way. It's not their fault. And Luke Prokop of the Seattle Thunderbirds said it best. Who's an openly gay player playing in the Western League? Drafted by what? Nashville, right? When he goes, I'd like to know if I walked into a dressing room that everybody in the room would have my back. And clearly they don't. So anyways, that's about all I have to say on that other than, James, why are you hiding behind the Bible? What do you think? That's my thought on that.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I said my piece the other day a little bit, and it's just, you know,
Yes,
you said that, right? Like the Bible is one thing, but what's your interpretation of it, right? The values you hold dear, and what's your interpretation, and how do you evolve on that? You can be both. You can support LGBTQ and, you know, be a Christian. But for the Blackhawks, this is my advice for the Blackhawks. Wear the Pride jersey. And here's why. You are one of the last teams in hockey to hang on to an Aboriginal logo or that type of heritage, where you've got groups trying to rip that away from you. I wouldn't do anything that would lead people to believe I'm old and staunchy and stuck in the past. I would do everything to show everybody that the organization is forward-thinking and inclusive, and that includes the logo that they're wearing. Don't do anything that's going to lead to the Blackhawks losing their name.
Yeah, well, and that's interesting, man. I would hate to see... Are we having a deep discussion? I guess it's not just Canadian issue here because we're talking about the Chicago Blackhawks. But I believe that's the most beautiful jersey in hockey, period.
It is.
Specifically the red one, but then the white one would be the second most beautiful jersey in hockey. I love it. And if you've studied the history there, the Blackhawks have, I think they talked to a nearby First Nation, and they support the Blackhawks name, and they don't have to change anything. They've done their research on it. And I would hate to see that go away. Like, I'm sitting here with the Edmonton Eskimos thinking, have you seen the Edmonton Elks attendance? Yes, they haven't won a game at home since the Bush administration, the Trump administration. But it also coincides their attendance issues with the name change. How many people did you offend by going away from the name Eskimos? Where you thought you were doing the right thing. Now, we got a lot of topics on the table, and it's awesome. This is what we do here every day. And I said, what's the one call in sports history that you would have changed if you could? And we got some really good ones in here because Mark Cuban, the owner of the Mavericks, is protesting a call that cost his team a game last night. I need to go back and find it. It's from Glenn Erickson at Medicine Hat, and he's got the best one yet. It was the called out at first base that robbed that player the no-hitter that night. Perfect game or no-hitter. That was just a few years ago. But Larry Dye is watching in Medicine Hat, and I wondered if anybody would remember this. I'm jumping up and down with this. He goes, Dave Fleming was out of bounds on the Ticats touchdown in the 1972 Grey Cup. Even the Edmonton broadcaster and Rough Rider hater Al McCann thought the same thing. Larry, I remember it, and I wasn't even born yet. But as the 20-year voice of the Rough Riders, I went back and watched that game. It's been put into color. It's either on YouTube or maybe I saw it on CBC. And it was in the first quarter, right, Larry? And they caught a touchdown. He stepped out of bounds. And it came after an interception from Lancaster. Completely changed the complexion of the game. The 1972 Grey Cup. But there was no replay. There was no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be mine too, Larry. And I didn't think anybody else would have said it.
Wow.
And I wasn't even born yet. Anyways, what call would you have reversed if you can? We're getting some good ones. We'll be back to Grey Eagle Resort and Casino right after this timeout on Game Plus Television, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Come on down, live, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, the gateway to the foothills. It's beautiful here. Come check us out. A sports update before more with Moose from the Dub. In Kamloops, BC, Wednesday night, Caden Bankier scored the game-winning goal with 6:17 to go, and the Kamloops Blazers held off a Seattle Thunderbirds comeback effort and edged the T-Birds 6-5. In Winnipeg, Braden Yager scored twice. Jagger Furcus and Ryder Korzak each had a goal and 2 assists. And the Moose Jaw Warriors upset the hometown Ice 6-4. Down in Lethbridge, Keegan Slaney scored the game-winning goal, 8:44 into the third. And the Calgary Hitmen edged the Lethbridge Hurricanes 3-2 in a massive game there. And in Medicine Hat, Brendan Lee picked up a hat trick along with 1 assist, and the Medicine Hat Tigers earned an 8-2 blowout win over the Edmonton Oil Kings. And I'm going to throw these SJ scores in there too because they're near and dear to our heart. Battleford spanked Weyburn 6-1, and Humboldt Broncos beat Nipawin 4-2. So the Stars and Broncos lead those series 3-1. And these other series are now down to best of threes, tied up 2-2. Estevan blanked Flin Flon 3-0, and Melfort beat Larange 3-1. Sign up now for Landmark Extras and see what's playing at landmarkcinemas.com. They bring you our sports updates. On at the movies right now, Scream 6. Following the latest Ghostface killings, the 4 survivors leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter. In Landmark Cinemas right now. Let's bring in the Moose, and I see Moose that I have a typo in my own website here at rodpeterson.com. All I'll say is I go to the WHL standings page. 6 teams have clinched on the Eastern Conference. There are 2 spots left. The Hitmen, Tigers, and Swift Current Broncos are in an absolute war. It'll be decided this weekend with 2 games left for each. So that's exciting, but I got to tell you about Scream 6. I went to it last night. Don't go, Darren. Don't go, because I don't. And you admitted it. I'm not making fun of you. I don't think you can handle it because it's extremely gory. This is not something you would want your kids. Buddy, I was scared. And it reminded me a little bit of 1990, 89 or 90, when I went to Silence of the Lambs in the theater, not very far from where I was last night. You Calgarians helped me out. It was on McLeod Trail South. It's not there anymore. But Silence of the Lambs. I went with my buddies, and some jackwagon in the middle of the most suspenseful scene in the movie kicked the seat in front of him. Clunk! In the whole theater. And and then we were walking out to the parking lot. And remember, we're college kids. I was 17, and we're like looking over our shoulder in the parking lot of the movie theater after Silence of the Lambs. Last night was not as psychologically scary as Silence of the Lambs. It was just literally stab you in the eyeball. Gross. Blood everywhere. It's probably a record for red paint. It wasn't a slasher Texas Chainsaw Massacre Halloween type. It was a little classier than that, but still extremely gory. So should we tell people that you will not be going to it, Moose?
I will not be going. I was actually going to ask you because I saw that you went, and I think I'm going to the movies tonight. So I was going to ask you if I should go to Scream or not. So it's good to know that I'll probably be going to Creed tonight instead.
What about Champions? Did I not sell you on Champions?
You did. You did. Yeah, Champions is on the list too. But I've got some family.
That's the one. That's the one you got to go to, man.
Yeah. I've got already got a reservation for that one with some family that want to see it. So I'm not going to see it without them, but Creed's on my list too, so that'll be next.
I'll say this too. They're a sponsor. Landmark Cinemas last night, I got talking to the young gal, and she goes, do you want this scene, this, what's she call it, Landmark Extras card? And I said, well, why would I want it? And she goes, free refills of pop and popcorn. So
bingo!
I'm like,
so
sign me up.
Done deal.
You go early,
sold.
and at the end of the previews, you've already finished your popcorn. You go get another one for the movie. It's the best.
I ate it all before the movie even started. So with regards to today's question, and I thank those that gave me the idea for this question today, what's the one call in sports history you'd like to see reversed? And I'm going to find Glenn's comment on the baseball called out at first base, because that's a good one. But Dougal Cameron in Calgary here regarding the Rough Riders and the 13th man. He says, as a Stamps fan, the 13th man penalty was one of my best moments at McMahon, only because their young fans acted like asshats for the whole weekend.
How about that?
Where do you stand on this? Because I've got a lot of Calgary friends who are Stamps fans. It's odd that I would get along with them, but I'm spending a lot of time with them, and they say the best moment of their life was when the Riders screwed up winning the Grey Cup on the last play of the game. And I think you're not supposed to take pleasure from others' misfortune. That's like a cornerstone cardinal rule of life. But does that not extend to sports? Maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure.
It should.
What do you think?
It should. We all feel that, though. You know, if our team can't win, well, I don't want your team to win then either. You know, and we want misery loves company. So nobody wants to be miserable by themselves. When your team is good and when you're confident personally and in a good place, then you're helpful. You want everybody to rise up with you. But when you're not in a good place personally, when your team's not winning games, you don't want anybody else to have success, because if I'm going to suck, you're going to suck too. You know, you don't want to be the only one. So that's saying misery loves company. Of course, it makes a lot of sense. People are naturally drifting that way.
Well, Pat Steinberg's one. You know Steinberg, McLovin, over on Fan 960. He says one of the greatest moments of his life was that. And I'm like, oh, you're a horrible person. But then I think in a sports vernacular, it's different. It's different than life. Regarding Rick Bowness in Winnipeg saying this Jets players, not all of them, but some of them are lacking self-motivation. Listen, I don't get it either, man. I don't get it either. But Jim is watching in Belgoni, Sask. Glad you asked. He writes in on the 902 line and he says, hello, RP crew. Motivation for athletes? Take some of your millions of dollars and find some for yourself. Or there's the door. Good grief. Love the show, guys. It's hard to get your head around. Players making millions of dollars are having a tough time being motivated to play hockey. Yeah, you understand, by the way, a couple of things ringing through my head, Darren, and we got a break here right away. But I was saying, a few years ago, they should trade Connor McDavid in Edmonton because the team's so sucky. Thank God they didn't listen to me. But I don't want to be a general manager. I just sit here and yap about it on the air. Don't want to be. Don't listen to me. For some reason, people do. And then with the coaches. You remember Curtis Hunt, the older brother I didn't need. He was whining to me one time about his players. And I said, and you want to be a coach? And he looked at me. We were driving from Saskatoon to PA, and he goes, and you want to work with recovering alcoholics and drug addicts? Got me. I don't want to do what you do, and you don't want to do what I do. So I'll stay out of it. But why would you want to coach these guys and have your fortunes in the hands of 20 teenage boys or 20 spoiled millionaire brats? No thanks. Cindy, by the way, Cindy watching in Pittsburgh, she says, Darren said so much with those words. I don't know what she was referring to, but I think she was referring to the Pride jersey thing. We'll be back with more, okay? On the way, Jim Lang next hour, and Kieran Kettle, 3-time Muay Thai champion. The Muay Thai World Cup is here at Grey Eagle on Saturday night, and they're going to pack the joint, and we're going to talk about that later on in hour 2. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and iHeartRadio, as well as WQEE Radio, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers, Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
We're in the gateway to the Foothills Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. We love it here, and man, do we have a fantastic discussion on the go. The Moose is with us. So yesterday was a real big day with Theo Fleury here. Tomorrow, Randy Chevrier is going to be with us, former Dallas Cowboy, Stampeder, Rough Rider, long snapper. Next week, I'm working on some really big Flames greats, but I don't want to drop their names in case they don't show up yet. What are you laughing at? Huh?
Really big. It's a really big show.
Really big show. I found it. And we're in one. Good topics today. What's the one call you could have reversed if you could? Because Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks owner, is going to protest a call from his team's 2-point loss to the Golden State Warriors. I'm like, Mark, you should know he's not a dumb guy. What are you hoping to get out of this? They're not going to go back and play the game, so all they can do is issue an apology. And we don't do make-up calls, right? In any league, we don't do that. So I don't know what he's thinking. Glenn Erickson, hockey guy, golf guy. He's in Medicine Hat. He writes in and he says, the call I'd like to see changed. First base umpire Jim Joyce, when his bang-bang out call denied Detroit Tigers pitcher Armando Galarraga a perfect game. And I see a back and forth with our audience on that one. I thought that was just a couple of years ago. They say that was 2010. And Glenn goes, it seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
It does to me, too. That might be the most egregious. A perfect game, dude. Jeff in Redmond, Oregon writes in. He says, I'd like reverse the call at the end of the USSR 1972 Olympic gold medal basketball game. I'll take your word for it. No clue what he's talking about. No clue.
Me either.
A really good one from Jeff in Hamilton. Hey, Rod and Moose. I'd reverse the Taylor Reed illegal blocking call in the 2014 Grey Cup that took Brandon Banks' punt return touchdown off the board. Not that it was wrong or a bad call. I just didn't like it. LOL. Well, for the football fans in America, where it is football first, they could appreciate this. Last play of the game. This is 13th man worthy. Championship game. Speedy B, Brandon Banks returns it. Was he Kansas State grad, right, I think? For a touchdown to win the game. Wait, flag down. Block from the back. Taylor Reed was the guy that threw the block. Speedy B's teammate, and they touchdown off the board, we lose. I tell you what, I talked to the Hamilton peeps a lot about that. Eric Tillman was the general manager. Ken Austin was the coach. It cost Kent a $100,000 bonus. We've talked about this. And I'm like, well, was it a block from the back or not, E.T.? Well, it was, but they hadn't been calling it all game. Did you ever know, Eric? He would get so wound up, his face would turn purple. He would shake. It's so entertaining. You can see why in Hamilton, but that's another...
That's another one. Really, I'm surprised the tuck rule hasn't come up yet with Tom Brady and the Oakland Raiders.
And that changed history in football for sure. Moose, you're going to be with us. Well, Rick Sawatsky, he's watching in Martinsville. He says, I disagree with Moose's take on the Blackhawks. The present logo and pride jerseys are two different things. You can't appease the mob by doing one thing, expecting they overlook the other. We'll kick this around next hour after this break on Game Plus and WQE. Coffee's here, Moose.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Arash Madani got me going on this. He's going, this is amazing. Mike Trout's coming out with a USA flag. And Shohei Ohtani's coming out with a Japanese flag. I'm like, oh, I better flip it over to Sportsnet. It was kind of slow going at the start. The game itself was exciting. We've been trying to get people into it over the last week and a half since this thing started, and I think a lot of people did. What a game, man. People are going to be talking about this for quite some time.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it's a little thing called the RP Show, and we're live at the beautiful Grey Eagle Resort and Casino again. Our spring residency is humming. We're into our second week of it, and we'll be here till May, maybe beyond. And I don't know, we just hit on a very interesting topic today. I had a sense that it would be, and we'll continue that in a moment. Darren Moose-Dupont joins us from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, and I appreciate your flying co-pilot with me today, Moose. Where do I go from here? I welcome everybody that's just tuned us in for hour two of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. We are coming at you live on Game Plus Television all across all 10 Canadian provinces, 31 U.S. states, and on the radio in the state of Georgia. We're going to get to Moose moving ahead to tonight's games in the National Hockey League. The Sweet 16 round of March Madness gets rolling tonight. But the topic that's got everybody going today, and it's elicited a lot of viewer response. I'm going to go back and read it here. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said he plans to protest a 2-point loss to Golden State after a confusing sequence led to an uncontested basket for the Warriors last night. Kevon Looney had an easy dunk on an inbounds play with the Mavs lined up on their offensive end after a timeout late in the third quarter of Golden State's eventual 2-point victory. The Mavs thought they had the ball after official Andy Nagy pointed in Golden State's direction for possession, but then quickly pointed to the Dallas bench to indicate a timeout. So there's all that. My thing is I would love to sit down with Mark Cuban and say, what do you expect to get out of this, Mark? Because they're not going to go back and play the game. It annoys me, Darren, that people think in sports now they're so much smarter than those that came before them decades ago. And the fact of the matter is you're probably not as smart as your forefathers and foremothers, if you will. What do you expect, Mark? What do you think he's expecting to get? You can't get anything more than an apology, and they won't admit to doing makeup calls.
I know. You'll only get an apology. He'll get a written apology. But maybe what Mark Cuban is thinking is, I'm going to officially protest this game. I'm going to make sure they admit to being wrong, and then I'm going to have one in my back pocket. So the next time I want something from the league in a negotiation or need something, they're going to be more willing to say, we screwed them last time, so let's give it to them this time. You know, I think it's a long play. Mark Cuban's smarter than that. He doesn't think they're going to reverse the decision of the game.
That's what I think, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
It's not happening.
But it annoys me a little bit. Actually, it annoys me a lot. And it's probably something that Perry Shockey and I will talk about over some 4A Alberta beef tonight in the Saddle Dome Media Room. And that is, we got to get over certain things, that it's not the way it used to be, because it's never going to be the way it used to be. It ticks me off when people in major junior hockey talk about, there's got to be a better format for the Memorial Cup. There's got to be a better format. Okay, you come up with it and get back to us. We'll wait. And the longtime major junior fans that are watching, tell me, when was gosh, I used to do a lot of coverage on this. The tournament format that they're in now, it's been around since the 70s. Was Calgary, 1974, the first? It's been going for 50 years because nobody could find a better format. Because if you had a tournament here or Hamilton and you had 3 leagues represented but no local team, nobody's going to go. This is why they do it, okay? And the host team usually is junk. So if they end up winning it, it's because of luck. Nobody can figure out a better way to do it. Yet everybody wants to sit around and bitch they don't like the way it is. These are smart guys that came up with it. Yeah. Craig, I've had a lot of football thoughts rattling around in my cranium all week. I have, because I'm a football fan, and you're a football guy. Craig Smith, our director of scouting, writes in and he says, I'm disappointed that the CFL is not streaming anything this week from the CFL Combine. I guess there's not a lot like me who loves seeing this is the future of CFL talent. I don't know about that. What I know is that I'm going up to Edmonton on Saturday, and I'm taking our guy, Kevin, and I'm really excited to be at Commonwealth Stadium on Saturday for this. I don't know any more than that. I don't know who's streaming and what's not. I don't know who's available for the fans to come. I don't know. But I was talking to a media guy, Darren, and you know who he is. Edmonton media guy, very well known. Because he says, I hear you're coming up for the Combine. Are we going to have a chance to see each other, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, are you going to be covering it? And he goes, I don't really get along real well with the media people in that league or the team anymore. And the problem is he's been around so long, he remembers how it used to be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they did it right. So I think they'd like to just get rid of us old dinosaurs that remember when it was effective. When the Edmonton Eskimos used to win the PR award every year in the CFL. They might as well called it the Dave Jamieson Award because he was so bloody great at what he did. Anything less than that is uncivilized. Hey, Rich in Edmonton says, he says, Rod, surely you'll be going to the Oil versus Vegas on Saturday night? No. But stick with me. Here's why. I'm coming home here to Calgary to watch the Flames and the San Jose Sharks. It's already set up with the Flames. But I'm going to come to Edmonton for playoff games because I'm not sure there's going to be any here. Okay? I said it. Sorry. Don't blame me. Don't at me. So I can wait until the spring and go to Edmonton for some playoff games there. The Oilers are very good. Jason in Red Deer writes in and he says, Brian Hall, perchance? About Edmonton media. No, it wasn't Brian Hall. I don't like Brian Hall. I don't talk to Brian Hall. It wasn't Brian Hall. Stop asking. I'm not going to tell you. Back to the rules. Now, did you say you've reffed, Darren, or no? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. I have my certification as a hockey official, so I can kind of speak about it. Doesn't matter that it's 40 years old, does it? Darren in Utah, Darren Workman says, a good rule of thumb for officials is if you have less than 10 seconds left in the game, put your whistle in your pocket, button your flag pocket shut, and let the players decide the outcome of the game. Sure, but you're still going to tick somebody off with that. Respond to that, please, Moose.
That doesn't work.
With your response.
That doesn't work.
That doesn't work either.
No, you're telling me that you're going to put the flag away 10 seconds, your team's on defense up by 3, and there's an egregious holding call, and you're going to let them score the touchdown? No, not happening.
Have you reffed, Darren in Utah? Have you reffed? You can't do that. And I've done a little bit of everything in this perilous trade, and I've officiated and realized that I don't want to do that either. I don't have the, at the time, I didn't have the, what?
Well, but he's not completely wrong. The best referees do understand game situation and what plays impact the game and what plays don't in certain spots. You're right, but you can't go black and white and put the whistle away at any point in time, no matter what.
I think the best rule of thumb is to tick both teams off. Then you can't be accused of favoring anybody. Jeff in Winnipeg says, the no-call skate in the crease goal by Brett Hull, Stars versus Sabres. 1999, I was listening to it on the radio. It was a Saturday, and I was at a wedding in Limerick, Saskatchewan. And I was out listening in my car, my 1995 Ford Mustang. God, that was a sweet car. I was listening to it while the wedding reception was going on. And I heard the call. So I didn't see the goal. I just heard the explanation of it. Obviously, my dad was working for the Stars at the time, so I intimately know the incident that you're talking about. And if I may, I believe the rule book states that you could, at that time, have a skate in the crease if you weren't interfering with the goaltender. There was no rule was broken there. I believe that's the misnomer on the whole Brett Hull thing. Jason in Red Deer goes on to say, how about officials just calling everything correctly? If you see a penalty, call it. Who gives a crap if it affects the game? Then the players should abide by the rules. Well, now there's a thought.
That doesn't work either. That doesn't work either, unfortunately. It sounds great.
Why?
It really does. But then you look at what the impact is of a penalty, right? 2 minutes in the first period of a playoff game or 2 minutes in overtime, right? Calls that change the game, it's worth a lot more. So you do have to adjust the way you call it. It's very complex, and it's hard for people to comprehend who can only see things in black and white.
Yeah, and I think if you have never been on the bench or on the ice or on the field, if you haven't played it and been around it, you wouldn't understand. And I don't know, Jason, your sports history, but I do know this, having played and coached and reffed and been in the sports media forever. What if you just called it black and white, as you're suggesting, and the power plays ended up 12-1 in hockey at the end of the game? What are you going to say? The coaches can go, the power plays were 12-1 for God's sakes. You know, they're supposed to be even.
Yeah.
That's the rule of thumb. You didn't call it even. Power plays were, so you're never going to. Ted in Red Deer says, Rod mentioned Brian Hall with no rant. Color me disappointed.
11-11.
It ain't worth it. It's 11-11. See? Visualize a positive outcome.
Beautiful.
We had a guy say to me the other day that we haven't had a lot of Rod's rants lately, and I'm not a really wound up, angry guy anymore. Sorry. Darren in Utah says, too, by the way, I have officiated. And if it is so egregious that it has to be called, however, most players don't want to be that guy who fouled so badly, so they try to play it clean. Fair. But whenever anybody says put the whistle, whenever I hear put the whistle in the pocket, it's like, oh boy, here we go. The rodeo has started.
Yes.
I don't necessarily have a problem with that either. Boy, did we spark a tremendous discussion today. This is what we do here. Dan in Winnipeg says, Rod, do you think the Jets will make the playoffs this year? I'm starting to say no, Dan. I'm starting to think, no, they won't. And maybe Rick Bowness, who's not dumb, the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, there's a little bit of a method behind his madness. I don't know. But it's getting a lot of play in Manitoba and Winnipeg that he's called out his players for not being motivated sufficiently. Wilf in Steinbach, Manitoba, watches every day on Game Plus TV, and he says, hi, Rod and Moose. I believe Rick Bowness hit the nail on the head. Nino is the best player on the roster. He never takes a shift off. Plus minus tells it all. Sure, but Nino is new to the whole thing. So is the Winnipeg Jets dressing room a crab bucket of which Moose and I talk about regularly? I've got to move the table back. I keep bumping the camera here. Are they a crab bucket that Nino Niederreiter is going to be pulled down into that bucket of crabs that appears to be the Winnipeg Jets dressing room? And we started the show watching or talking about this, Darren, that all those Winnipeg Jets ugly traits have showed up just in time. Wow, what a plot twist.
It is something else, man. It is something else. I don't know how you get it back and fix it, or how Rick Bowness can do a full-on reset, but they need to get to the core of the issues. They need to, come together as a team. There's an opportunity here for a great story to be written in Winnipeg, but they have to be willing to do it and have to address the problem and overcome it. And it's not too late. It's absolutely not too late, but they need to put in the work.
Well, what do you think? Again, I have a lot of respect for Rick Bowness. What these guys say in the media is sometimes different than what they're saying behind closed doors. I don't know if he's one of those guys. John Cooper in Tampa is the best with the Jedi mind tricks with the media and the fans. He puts things out there to throw people off the scent. I don't know if Rick Bowness is saying these things now at this specific time, because the stretch drive is officially starting now with 10 games to go. I don't know what his motivation is. And incidentally, the Jets lost their last game, right? No, sorry, they won their last game against the Arizona Coyotes. So it's interesting that he'd come out with these comments now. I promised that we would be in Winnipeg doing the show this spring. Doesn't look like that's going to happen now. We are hoping to do the show from a casino in Winnipeg, similarly to what we do here at the Grey Eagle, but the Grey Eagles snatched us up. So what are you going to do? It's nice to be the hot girl at the ball. Seth is watching in the audience here, and he says, regarding the call you'd like to have called back, he says, strike two called on Ben Revere in the bottom of the ninth with runners on second and third, 2015 against the Royals.
Spicy.
Mike in Swift Current says one of the worst calls was Andy Van Helleman disallowed goal by Joe Sakic, 1995 playoffs, Quebec versus the Rangers, where he blew the whistle after Joe scored, and Quebec ended up losing in overtime. Andy was fined by the league for the mistake. Big deal. That's what Mike. But we don't hold on to things, right? It only happened 28 years ago. Moose, it's been a wonderful discussion today. I think you're done. Thank you.
Awesome.
We'll chat
Enjoy the
later.
rest of the show.
All right. Jim, you too. Jim Clubber-Lang next, Canada's foremost NFL insider. And if you or Jim or anybody's wondering what we've been talking about today, topic is what's the one call in history and sports you'd like to have reversed? Because Mark Cuban's protesting to the NBA, a call that cost his team a game last night. And I'm saying, what are you hoping to accomplish, Mark? You're not any smarter than anybody else from the history of time. All you're going to get is an apology. Also, Kieran Kettle coming up, three-time world champion at Muay Thai. The Muay Thai World Cup is here at Grey Eagle on Saturday night. We're going to talk a little combat sports later on, too. We are live from Calgary's entertainment destination on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, iHeartRadio, your favorite podcast platform, and your Southern Home Sports and Talk, WQEE, the key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock. Or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We're back live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We've got a very busy show on the go, live from that spot right there, the gateway to the foothills. Sheldon Lacham's watching from Grey Eagle. He writes in and he says, "Hi, guys. Great show today. All caps. We love having you here." You want to throw that one up on the screen, Clark? Why not? What a flatterer. And we're talking about what's the one call you could have reversed if you could. There are too many comments coming in. I'll get to them as much as I can. Jim Clubberlang joins us, Canada's foremost NFL expert. And Jimbo, I do not want to put you on the spot, but off the top of your head, based on Mark Cuban protesting the NBA, what's the one call, if you could, have your druthers have reversed?
It only takes me 10 seconds, less than that, a microsecond to figure out the tuck rule. Rod Woodson caused a fumble against Tom Brady in the snow in New England. That rule still drives me to distraction. The Raiders should have won that game.
They still talk about it regularly. Explain to those that don't know the tuck rule.
Well, it's in a convoluted way. They're basically saying that, like, because he brought the ball in and tucked it back in, it wasn't a fumble. It still doesn't make sense. I don't think anyone in the field could still understand how it happened. I mean, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick weren't complaining because they benefited from it and ended up, winning the game because of that tuck rule. But every time they show that replay around playoff season, I had the privilege of dealing with Rod Woodson, or Charles Woodson, I should say, Charles Woodson, when he was with the Packers at the Super Bowl. And Charles Woodson is one of the nicest, most intelligent human beings ever. But they're like, talk about anything Packers Super Bowl, just don't bring up the tuck rule. Yeah, no problem. I don't want to bring it up either. So, I mean, I'm sure that haunts Charles Woodson and John Gruden, everyone with the Raiders from that team, because, I mean, it's one of those highlights when I see it, I go, I can't believe they made that call. I can't.
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting because a lot of people, as you know, we are in Canada. They brought up the 13th man call against the Rough Riders, last play of the 2009 Grey Cup that cost us a championship. And I'm like, they didn't screw that call up. We had too many men on the field. So I don't want it reversed. Like, we want the right call made, but the tuck rule was not that.
Well, what about the stick measurement with Marty McSorley in the 93 Cup final, Kings Canadians?
But that was illegal too. That was illegal.
Yeah,
that was the right call.
I guess, I mean, but the point being is, I guess basically everyone had an illegal curve at the time. But yeah, I mean, but number one for me is always going to be the tuck rule.
Fair, but it's like, hey, you get called for speeding on the freeway. Let's say the Arizona 101 or the I-95 in Miami, you get pulled over. Everybody's speeding. Were you speeding? Well, yeah, but everybody's speeding. You were you broke the law. So anyway,
excuse me. I've tried that excuse. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
How about that?
Haven't we all? So Ryan in Saratoga, New York, here as Canada's foremost NFL expert, Jim Lang, with us. Ryan says, question for Mr. Lang. What's your take on the Aaron Rodgers trade holdup, and will this drag on until the draft or after the draft?
Ryan, 100% will drag on to the draft. I mean, why do the Packers have to rush and make a deal? They'd have no reason to. And they've seen the price paid around the league. Like, think what Carolina did to acquire the first-round draft pick, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and DJ Moore. So if you're the Jets and you want Aaron Rodgers, which is a proven commodity, not an unknown first-round draft pick, which may or may not be great, but you know what you're getting in Aaron Rodgers, and you think right away we have a chance to be at least a wild card team in the AFC, why would you ask for anything less than a lot? So you're going to ask for multiple picks and maybe players. Well, you want him that bad. Aaron Rodgers has basically forced everyone's hand, saying, the only place I want to go is the Jets. So the Jets basically don't have a lot of leg to stand on when they're dealing with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are going to say, okay, well, this is what we want. Please, have at him.
Boy, do we got a lot. Boy, they love when you come on, Jim. Rich in Edmonton says this Raider fan still refuses to accept that call. So there's that. Landry says, Jim, do you think the Denver Broncos will see a significant improvement this year? Their coach, Sean Payton, had to pick a teams to coach, and he picked Denver. What kind of a difference is it going to make?
It's funny he asked that question. I was just thinking about that today. I think he's going to be an immediate impact on the team, both with Russell Wilson at quarterback, the mindset of the team, how they practice, how they prepare. If you think about last year under Nathaniel Hackett and some of the boneheaded coaching decisions and coaching errors in the first few games that cost them games at the start of the season, that will not happen with Sean Payton. Like, there's one thing you can say what you want about him. He's ultra prepared, knows the rule book, knows the game inside and out, knows gamemanship. So when the Broncos step on the field, they may or may not lose because of talent, but they're not going to lose because of bad coaching decision. So right away, I'm going to give them at least 3 or 4 extra wins because of the Sean Payton impact on the Broncos. I can't wait to see how Russell Wilson plays and how the Broncos play under Sean Payton, because I remember dealing with him in the Super Bowl when they upset the Colts at the time. And you talk to the guy, you realize, like, he's all business. Like, all business. Like, when he goes to that facility, those players be ready to work, know the playbook, know their assignments, because he's got no problem calling you out. He'll just show up his Super Bowl ring and twinkle it in the lights of the stadium and go, what did you say? This is what I want you to do. So I can't wait to see what Sean Payton does in Denver.
We have a machine gun succession of questions here for you, so I'm going to try to get them in as much as I can. Jeff in Winnipeg says, Jim, what's your over-under for Jimmy G's games played with the Raiders this season?
I'm going to go, I'll say 10.5. That's my over-under is 10.5 games.
Based on?
Well, he does have a tendency to get banged up and hurt. And, the 17-game regular season is a lot. And not many quarterbacks play every game of the regular season. So, if I'm thinking Vegas, they probably put the over-under at 10.5. I think I like Jimmy G going across state to the Raiders. I think that's a smart pickup. But, yeah, the quarterbacks get hurt, and Jimmy G's been hurt from time to time. So if I'm putting a realistic over-under, I'm going to do 10.5.
Jennifer from the Four Seasons Sports Palace wants to know, where will Lamar land? Is that ever an interesting situation, what's gone down with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens?
Well, Jennifer, if I'm the Indianapolis Colts, I slap down a $230 million guaranteed contract in front of Lamar Jackson and his agent, the same contract they gave Deshaun Watson, because under the terms of the non-exclusive franchise tag that they put on them by the Ravens, if they don't match the offer, they get 2 draft picks. So if you're the Colts, you're only giving up 2 first-round picks. Think about what I said about Carolina. They did 2 first, 2 seconds, and a starting player for the rights to a first-round pick that may not be. Lamar Jackson is in his mid-20s, a former unanimous MVP, a game changer, immediate franchise-building game changer. So you talk about the impact Sean Payton would have in Denver. The impact that the Colts would have with the additional Lamar Jackson would be huge. And if I'm Jerry Mersey, I'm the Colts, I'm just saying, look, 230, 240, we'll guarantee it. Please, we want you to rebuild our franchise. You're our quarterback for the next 10, 12 years.
Tank in the Energy City says, with the Vikings being the wild card to take a shot at Lamar, would the Vikings give up Kirk's remaining contract to just dump a bunch of money on Lamar Jackson if they do land him?
Yeah, I just don't know off the top of my head what the cap hit would be if they do that. They may have to get the capologist to work some numbers. You're thinking about a Vikings team that went 13-4 last year. So there's not going to be a lot of appetite in management in the front office to take the financial hit of doing that when you won 13 games last year. So that may be a discussion, but I don't see that happening because they're not quarterback needy as other teams are.
Number 1 overall pick belongs to the Carolina Panthers after acquiring it from the Chicago Bears, and they gave up a lot to get it. Do you see a Ryan Leaf, Peyton Manning-ish scenario evolving here on draft day for C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young?
Yes, I guess. Only in the sense I'm not talking about how they would end up as pros, but only because how teams view the quarterbacks, because every team in the NFL has a different metric and different way of evaluating players. So I could be a scout along with my personnel people, look at Rod Pedersen and say, Rod Pedersen is lead pipe cinch. He's number 1. We got to have him. And then another team looks at Rod Pedersen going, he's really good, but I'm not prepared to take him with the first pick overall. So that's going to be the big discussion for for Frank Reich now in Carolina and the front office is the measuring stick. They're probably going to do a private pro day leading up to the draft and knowing how much money and what it means to the franchise. But yeah, it's all going to be up to how they view each one of the players and where they think they can go as a franchise. I don't think the story, the narrative about Bryce Young's size, I don't think it matters. I think we've seen evidence of that. Undersized quarterbacks in the NFL having great success, Super Bowl champion success. So the size thing, I don't understand all the talk about it at all.
Well, it's interesting because I see on the screens ESPN's broadcasting live from C.J. Stroud's pro day today. And I'm like, what could you possibly unearth at a pro day that we haven't seen on the mountains of film that have been available with this guy? Right?
Yeah.
What do you think they're looking for?
Exactly. Oh, I mean, it's great content if you're ESPN, but they maybe say, look, we want you to run a sluggo, a slant and go, or maybe a typical bread and butter passes in our passing tree in our offense. And we want to see how you look throwing the ball, how long it takes for you to get the ball from your hand and the receiver's hands, how you look doing it. And this is really the minutia of coaching and evaluating players. But for the most part, you're right, Rod. It's not like they're going to learn anything that they don't already know out of this player right now from the last few years in the NCAA and everything with the combine.
In the 2 minutes that are left, your Toronto Maple Leafs are at my Florida Panthers tonight. Should be a gooder. Panthers slipped out of a playoff spot last night by virtue of the Penguins' win over Colorado. What a race this is. How are you on the Leafs today, Jimbo?
Well, I have I'm hoping for the best, preparing for the worst. I'm not convinced they have the goaltending to be successful in the postseason. I'm just not. And I look at the big teams in the East and the NHL, especially the way Boston's playing, and I just don't know, because for them to advance, they'd have to beat Tampa Bay and Boston. And they may beat one, they're not beating both. I just don't see them beating Boston. And it's not, like the offensive talent's there. They've got some depth and defense, but at this stage in the playoffs in the season, Rod, can their goaltending step up to the point where they can steal games, face 45, 50 shots, and give up maybe one? I just don't see any evidence of the Leafs goaltending be able to do that. So that's why I'm worried.
I feel like your dog isn't big on the Leafs right now, because as soon as I brought up the Leafs, your dog started whining.
Oh no, she understands my pain. I have to say that as painful as that is, I mean, every time I look at a highlight of Connor McDavid, I'm like, I can't believe what this guy's doing. Like, I can't believe it. Like, it's like, I mean, he's putting together this kind of seasons we haven't seen since the 90s, Rod.
I know. It's hard to believe there was ever any discussion who's the MVP of the NHL. Oh,
I know. Exactly.
Your dog wants McDavid to play for the Leafs.
She does. Really
no doubt
about that.
Okay. Jim, thank you, man. Have a great day. Thanks for coming on.
You're the best.
Special guests, two of them. Yeah. With special guests, two of them joining us when we come back. Well, one at a time. The first one next, Kieran Kettle, when we return to Grey Eagle after this time out on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacroix. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150-plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Folks, if you love the timeless music of the Eagles, then you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute right here Thursday, April 27th at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, specifically at the Event Center. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca. This Saturday night, everybody's excited about the Muay Thai World Cup, and Kieran Kettle joins us right here on stage at the Grey Eagle. 3-time world champion at Muay Thai. He's the CEO of the Muay Thai World Cup this Saturday, and he looks particularly relaxed for a guy that's hosting a pretty big event. You got everything ready to go, Kieran?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've promoted over 70 events, so I'm used to it by now. The stress levels are gone now. Those days of running around like a headless chicken at events are gone. We've got a good team, and we're ready for Saturday.
Muay Thai World Cup here at the Grey Eagle on Saturday. I don't even know what people need to know. I think they need to know about you first, though.
Okay.
3-time world champion of Muay Thai. Explain how you, the road to those 3 world championships.
Started in 1992. Didn't actually like the sport particularly at first, would you believe? Took me a few years of just going once a week just to keep fit.
Why'd you start? My
older brother, actually. So my older brother, he was at university, and he called, of course it was before cell phones, he called up on the house phone to my mum and said, you need to get Kieran, he would love this, because in team sports I used to play football, soccer. I was always like, the team was good, but I didn't like letting anyone down. So when you do something individually solo, it's down to you and you only, right? So he called up and said to my mum, you need to get him into a local club. And that's what happened. The local club, I joined it. Several years later, my brother actually overtook the club. He started running the club and then offset the journey. So,
wow.
Yeah.
When you won these titles,
yes,
where specifically did you win them?
So I was, the ages were 21, 26, and 30. 2 different weight classes. 2 of them were in England, and 1 of them was in Holland.
Yeah, and now are you putting on events all over the world, or you have participated in events all over the world?
Both. So
yeah, okay.
Both. So during my sort of fight career, I always say I'm very lucky. I managed to travel the world being a fighter. And when that stopped, becoming a coach, I managed to travel the world with the fighters due to all the networking I did over the years. And now, of course, as a promoter, I've promoted in various different countries, but now right here in Calgary, the home, I've been promoting here.
Okay, so that's Kieran's story. Kieran Kettle, 3-time Muay Thai world champion. People going to come down here Saturday, and if they haven't bought tickets yet, they're going to. What are they going to see?
You're going to see the best Muay Thai stand-up action you'll ever see. And what I mean by stand-up is, because some people don't know what Muay Thai is. Kickboxing, Muay Thai, some people don't know what it is. People will know what UFC is. So it's everything you see in UFC on the stand-up. When the guys are on their feet, or the girls are on their feet, that's what you're going to see. The most exciting strikers in the world participating. It's Muay Thai with the little gloves, the 4-ounce MMA gloves. It's the first time that's ever happened in Canada too. We signed a deal with a huge company called One Championship, which is broadcast all around the world to millions. So we signed a deal with them. The beauty of Saturday is we've brought the best of the best from North America to compete against each other. The winners, this is the quarterfinal. We've got a semi-final in June. We've got a final in November. The winners of that will receive a multi-fight contract worth $100,000 US. So it's life-changing for these guys. So Saturday it all begins. And like I said, you're seeing the best of the best compete against each other. Punches, kicks, knees, elbows. It's the most exciting sport. I'm going to be biased, of course, in the world. But it is everything you want to see in a show.
I was mentioning to you before we went here that I've done a lot of announcing of boxing and MMA.
Yep.
But for those, I've never done Muay Thai, so I'm excited to be there on Saturday. But when they get to the ground in MMA, it does get a little boring. Will they stop the fight if you guys go to the ground, or how does that?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, if there's a sweep or someone gets put down, the referee will stand them up.
Okay, so they don't stop the fight then. Is there a penalty if you take somebody down?
No. So it'll be an illegal move as such. Of course, if you knock someone down, that's different. There'll be an 8 count for that. If you sweep them down, that's completely allowed, but there won't be any sort of shoots, what they call in MMA. So, yeah, a little bit different. It's completely action-packed. As I said, the referee tries to keep the flow, keep going, keep them standing, and keep punching, kicking, kneeing, and elbowing.
So you've said you've done a lot of events. What do you expect for an atmosphere here on Saturday? Because it can get rowdy. Is that what we're expecting?
Well, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. Like, as I said, I promoted in Europe, America, the Middle East, and I always say it really surprises me how good of a crowd, especially Calgary, but the crowd is just phenomenal. They get behind every fighter. They're very appreciative. They're a fantastic audience. They're loud, but they just bring extra atmosphere. And we're expecting a couple of thousand people on Saturday. And as per usual with Calgary, everything's last minute, so you're going to get the rush of people. You know how it is. But it is exciting. And I always say that the crowd here are very special. They're very loud. But they're very respectful and polite too at the same time. And that's what it should be. It's a martial art after all, but it's also a fight sport.
They want to be entertained. They want to get rowdy.
Yep.
That's this town. Trust me, I get it. And I laugh because while I've never worked in combat sports per se, just done the events, I laugh when people from other sports say, oh, it's losing popularity. It's this.
No.
Oh, really? No, it ain't.
No,
because the venues are full.
The venues are full.
Yeah.
It's, we're coming out of that horrible period, which was COVID, of course. We're now into a full year. There's events every week now across Canada, and it's getting more popular. And I feel also we've got the grassroots, we've got the kids coming through now, and the gyms, not just my gym at all, but every other gym I'm speaking to in the city, across the province, across the country, all the kids now are wanting to compete or train at least in martial arts. The parents want them to get some confidence, get fit, be part of a social team. And I think all sports are increasing, but I think in martial arts especially, we're seeing memberships going through the roof.
That's why it's fantastic in all regards. But I will say this, there will always be some sort of human lust to see two competitors in a ring or a cage.
Gladiators, you know. And
it's
that's
a human nature,
It is a human nature, absolutely. Yeah. But when you see it with skill, that's when you're really entertained. So it's not just two guys just brawling that don't really know what they're doing. These athletes have been trained from years and years and years for that one moment. So you're going to see high class skill, but also, it's beautiful violence.
Have we got you sold yet, folks? Where can they?
So.
Yeah, where can they get their tickets?
So you can go onto Ticketmaster.ca, Muay Thai World Cup, or you can go to our website, MuayThaiWorldCup.com. If you can't make it, we've got a pay-per-view stream on that link as well.
The website again?
MuayThaiWorldCup.com.
There you go. He's the CEO of it and 3-time world champion. Thank you for the invite. I'll see you there Saturday.
Can't wait. Look forward to seeing you. Look forward to seeing your reaction when you see the fights.
Absolutely. We have another special guest right after this brief break. We'll be right back with Overtime in a moment, live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 in a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100, but there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
The studio is the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination, and Overtime. Normally we would have the Moose here, but I've invited a special guest to join us. It's still brought to you, though, by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Hockey League at 909 Arcola Avenue East in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. But Mark Stiles joins us here, a very long-time friend of mine. I could say back to what? What was your first year with the Hitman?
Oh, my gosh, Rod. Hey, thanks for having me on,
Yes,
by
sir.
the way. Thanks for having Kieran before us for Muay Thai World Cup. You and I go back. I can do this. The first year, I would have been the fall of 1997.
That
Rod.
far?
Yeah. So we go, whatever the math is, 26 years?
Yeah, longtime voice of the Calgary Hitmen, worked for the Flames for a while, then the Blackfalds Bulldogs of the AJ.
For one season, yeah.
Yeah, and now you're doing your own thing, which includes sports marketing and events in the Muay Thai World Cup. That's exciting.
100%. M3 Sports, as you know, is the name of the company. And I'll tell you how I met Kieran in a second, and it's been a lot of fun hanging out with this cowboy from England. Let me tell you.
At least you're safe.
At least you know what? Not the kind of guy you want to punch.
No.
So, for sure. I started my own. As you know, I called Hitman Games for a long time on what is now the Fan 960. Hosted the Flames pay-per-view broadcast for 4 or 5 years before it became Sportsnet.
Yep.
But my passion, Rod, and I know you know this, has always been the business side of your podcast or the business side of the sports industry. So that's what I did. You referenced Blackfalds. I wasn't up there as a broadcaster. I was up there helping them set their business up for the first year, and beautiful rink.
Oh, yeah. I've seen photos.
Well, great owners, amazing ownership, amazing rink, really good for the Alberta Junior Hockey League. But anyway, so my passion's always been the business side. So I come back here, not that I ever really left Calgary because I was going up and down the highway all the time to Blackfalds because of my kids. But I came back kind of in April or May of last year, and I'm like, well, now what am I going to do? I guess I need a job. I had this little company on the side called M3 Sports, and I've launched it. So I'm coming up on a year, and I always tell the joke: the first year was getting customers, Rod, and the second year try to make a little bit of money at it. So one of my people I deal with through my company is Muay Thai World Cup. That's why we're here today, actually. But I also represent the Calgary Canucks. I represent HN Live from their sales arm, and Gordie Howe Cares for their big event at the end of May 26 to 8 here in Calgary as well.
Well, what I love, and as you know, I've been here over a year now, is kind of going into things and not knowing really what to expect. The Palace Athena's event here with Chris Cyborg last year was, I think, the first event I did, and it was awesome. But we were just coming out of COVID, you know what I mean? It wasn't packed. But it seems like you're going to have a big crowd here.
Yeah,
Saturday.
So my quick story with Muay Thai, I had a friend introduce us to Kieran, a mutual friend, and I know nothing about Muay Thai. I've learned, obviously, and met a number of his athletes, but I knew boxing, like you referenced. Dana White has made $1 billion without Mark Stiles ever buying a pay-per-view. So I had a friend go, you got to go to this Muay Thai World Cup. I got to introduce you to Kieran Kettle. And I'm like, yeah, I'll go. I'll go.
You're like me.
Yeah,
try it.
Yeah, but the science in the ring, that's the guy you interviewed first. The guy that can help with sponsorship and table sales, I guess that's me. Or the event itself. But so I went, and it was everything Kieran just described to you. It was 2,000 people, ringside tables that sell for a couple thousand a buck, or a couple thousand a pop, and the crowd's batshit crazy. They love it. The athletes love it. It's just a fun night out. And by the way, I'm thinking when I first got introduced to Kieran's sport, and Tina Foster, we should mention, his co-owner, who's dynamite, I'm like, I bet they're $25 tickets. Well, reality is, if you want to come here tomorrow night, Saturday night, great catch. The weigh-in's tomorrow. The fight is Saturday. The cheapest ticket you're going to get is like $75. Like this is an event,
and you're selling them.
Like you heard Kieran said, he'll be disappointed if he doesn't have 2,000 at the Grey Eagle Casino tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Anyway, is
Saturday night?
Saturday night.
Tell him what day it is, Kieran.
Jeez, it's been a long week.
Come slap him.
I come on your show and I work for Muay Thai any longer. So it's clearly Saturday night. Let me get it really clear. Saturday, the amateurs will go at about 3. At intermission, the pros will start about 5:30.
Wow.
So that's when you'll show up, when the heavyweights
I'll
get
be
there.
coming back from Edmonton for that. So how many tickets are left?
That won't be a problem. The ticket sales are good. We even actually still have a couple tables still left. So if you want to bring 10 people, sit at a table, have a buffet dinner with your friends here at the Grey Eagle Casino on Saturday night, we can sell you a table still, or we can sell you tickets. So 3 different types of tickets: general admission, VIP, or buy a table by the ring.
What's the best way to get them?
I'd go to Muay Thai World Cup or Ticketmaster. You can't miss.
MuayThaiWorldCup.com or Ticketmaster.ca. We have a question here from Monty in Saskatoon regarding the Flames game tonight. He said, who's starting in goal tonight in Vegas and Flames net? I looked it up. Download the Score app, Monty. It's the best thing in the world. Jonathan Quick's supposed to start for Vegas tonight, and Jacob Markstrom for the Calgary Flames. Put your Flames hat on for a second. We got 4 minutes left. Can you handle it in 4 minutes? Can you analyze what's happening?
I don't want to miss the opportunity, Rod, to express my thanks to you for everything that we've done and got to know each other. I think I'd like to say a lot of mutual respect.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So thanks for having me on today. And congratulations on and I'm not just doing this, but everyone that follows podcasting knows your show is rocking it. So
I appreciate that.
Congrats on that.
Thank you, buddy.
I don't work for the Flames anymore, so I can say whatever I want.
Yes, you can. That's nice,
so
too.
listen, I still cheer like crazy. Went to a game a couple weeks ago, actually. And like most Flames fans, I hope they win 8 out of 10 or whatever it takes coming down the stretch, so we see them play beyond the next 3 weeks. But they're in tough. I mean, this reality. They got to win a lot coming down the stretch.
Are you watching every game?
No.
No?
No. Well, I pay attention every game.
No, I just mean, how do you go to L.A. and lose 8-2 when you're supposed to be winning every game?
Well, yeah, so the wrong guy to ask, but I would say this: the Kings are one of the best teams in the league, and the Anaheim Ducks are one of the poorest teams in the league. So you play one of the best on one night, you play one that's not like that the next night, and I think there's a lot of pride in that dressing room, like there should be, and they bounce back. They're still in it, man. Like, we all know they're treading water and they're in tough, but we also all know it's possible.
Yeah, what I hear, you literally can't get away from it in this town. And that's fine. That's what the Flames would want. From the mall to the coffee shop to the gas station, the movie theater, it's all about the Flames and who's to blame and who should get fired. And I'm like, they got 10 games left.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's out of the realm of possibility here.
Well, I always say, Rod, and it makes for great talk podcasting or whatever, but everybody is an expert at what's wrong because everybody has an opinion. But what they need is clearly solutions, and if they're going to, they're going to have to find it within the room if they're going to make the playoffs in 2022-23.
Yeah, and I think the tough part is figuring out where to go, and it's not anybody's job but the owners and the general manager, but everybody thinks they're the owner.
Yeah, everybody's got it, which makes it so great.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, that makes fun. That's what makes this conversation fun.
Understand that we don't have to listen to everybody's opinion either.
Yeah,
anyways,
good point.
Mark, let's do this a lot more. I appreciate it.
We will do it a lot more. I'm around, so I'd love to do whatever I can with you. Pleasure,
I'm going to be with your boy Shocks tonight too, by the way.
Oh, you're gonna be
I blame you for putting him on the radio.
Love that
to the
guy.
Flames guy.
Where are
We're
you
going to the
Sox
Flames
tonight?
game tonight.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Well, punch him for me and tell him it's from his buddy Styles.
I absolutely will. Ryan in New York says, have a great day, everyone. Enjoy whichever sports you watch tonight. We didn't even talk Sweet 16. We'll talk about the results tomorrow. Thanks, Mark, Kieran, Jim Lang, and Moose. We'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern here on Game Plus and The Key.
Who has more fun than us?
Hell yes.